why, Mark? Why should men do more caregiving?
Well, we've fallen way behind. The caregiving duties fall on the ladies of the family. So, but we're catching up. It's about a 60-40 split now. And I'm hoping by sharing my story, I'll inspire some other men to take it on, because I think my approach was somewhat unique. I took maybe a more romantic approach, and my mom certainly liked that. And I got a lot of satisfaction seeing her smile and reacting to, I guess, some of my tender, loving care.
Wow. Okay, so in Germany, at least, is always a quite sensible topic to talk about who should take care of the child when it's born or when men do it. It's getting accepted more and more into the mainstream, and this is pretty much a good thing. But still, there is this caution in many people. Why should someone rather do the caregiving than staying at their job? Is there any argument for men to do it more?
Well, I think it's difficult. It's becoming a crisis since we're all living longer. And right now, at least I think in the world, they say by 2050, there's going to be like 426 million people 80 years or older. And we have to deal with this. And since they're our loved ones, I think we have to deal with it in a special way. It wasn't that long ago where 3 generations lived in the same house. And the grandkids had their grandparents there, and they learned how to respect the elderly and value some of their life experience and I think some of the tips and tricks in life and certainly world history that they could learn from the not only the grandparents, but even their parents. And a lot of that is lost. Now we go to TikTok and Facebook and we get our education. And, I grew up with 5 siblings. I'm the youngest son, number 5 out of the gang. And my older brother lived close, so he jumped in and didn't do so much of the hands-on, but he took care of the family finances. He took care of my mom's meds, checked in on her daily and usually after work as well. And we hired some people to come into the house. And at that point, my mother could no longer drive, so we needed help with someone shopping, keeping her company, cooking meals, doing laundry and stuff like that. And so that's going to be a normal thing for, I think, everybody to take on. What we didn't know at the time, at least I did, because I lived in Los Angeles. I never married, had no children, and was having a good time. And my mother ended up, after her 89th birthday, just shutting down. And I think she was so unhappy with her life at that point because she didn't get along with these people that lived in the house that were overseeing things. And it's tough to find good workers and good help that you can trust and stuff. And so the tension built, and the people, we had a family living upstairs, and they kept quiet because they had a pretty good deal. They got free rent, and they lived in a great town and a nice house with a great education system. They had a young son at the time. Or they had 3 generations. It was a mother, the daughter, and a young boy. So that was interesting. But they didn't get along with my mom. My mom didn't get along with them. My mom could be a very tough cookie. She was very independent. Jersey girl, originally from Long Island. So if she had what I said, a really accurate BS detector. And apparently it went off pretty early with these guys. And so she became very difficult, and they were difficult in their own way. And I would come visit, and I think some of my other siblings would come visit, and we would notice some of the tension in the house, but we didn't think it was that big of a deal. Well, it built after a few years, and so my mom just kind of checked out. So she kind of willed herself to die. We were all on death watch, so we all came home. And hospice was called, and in the United States, when hospice is called, the end is not a good one. But we weren't sure what we were going to do, other than we had a priest come in and deliver the last rites. We picked out a eco-friendly coffin, and we were ready to say goodbye because she was not responsive. She didn't talk at all. Didn't eat. The doctor cut off all meds, and that was it. But my younger sister and I was 55 at the time, and my younger sister and I hung out with hospice because we wanted to learn how to care for our mother as long as she was going to be around. At that point, we didn't know it was going to be days, weeks, months, or whatever. So we learned a lot of the tips and tricks from hospice. They were very generous teaching us, and so we started doing all the hands-on care for my mom. And then I had my two older siblings also jumped in to do that. We had two of the siblings, the two middle kids, were not comfortable doing the hands-on. They helped in other ways, but they didn't want to change diapers and wipe your mother's butt and all that kind of stuff. So there was no lines that we didn't cross. But you have to do that. Again, it's like a baby. So she was 89 and was, in fact, my first child. So you're seeing, at least for a son, you're seeing your mother naked for the first time. So that was pretty shocking. And but at that point, I was a longtime actor and a designer and also had my own snack food company and stuff like that. I think the acting, all of that kind of kicked in because as uncomfortable as I was seeing my mom naked, I had a job to do. So I had to get over it and on with it because I wanted to care for her as much as I could. And I also didn't want her to feel my uncomfortableness because I didn't want her to think or feel that she was a burden to us. We did this out of love and wanted to make sure that she felt loved, and this was no big deal. This is just the right thing to do. And so slowly but surely, she snapped out of it. And I came to realize that my mom deserved better. And so if she was going to get better, I had to step up and assume that role. And so I had the will, and I also had the opportunity to move back into my childhood home. And I got the approval of my mom first when she snapped out of it. And then my siblings all trusted me. And when I set my mind to do something, I get it done. So I think before that, I had my MO was if I got bored, I moved on. That was kind of my deal with relationships and also with businesses. I started a bunch of businesses and I called them my nonprofit businesses, though none were intended to be nonprofit. But I learned from each, I wouldn't say failure, I learned from each experience and took it, what I learned of the positive part and took those aspects to the next job. So taking on the caregiving for my mom was going to be my most important job. And all the experience I had in my life with the acting and the design and being an entrepreneur where there's no turning off. It's a 24/7 job. And with caregiving, that certainly came into play as well. So.
Wow, what a story. I didn't I didn't even want to interrupt any of that. So thank you so much for sharing that. It's destiny that many people await. For instance, my dad had also to give a bit of care to his grandmother as well. So it is increasing with the lifespan that each and every one of us is enduring for the whole lifetime. What were the most key moments? What did change for you in your life when you became a full-time caregiver?
Well, I had to learn a couple of things. The main thing I learned was what unconditional love really was about. Not having never marrying and not having a child, which would definitely, you'd learn that lesson pretty quick. So, mom, I had to, no matter how, it's emotionally, physically, and mentally a taxing job. And mom could be a tough cookie at times, and she suffered from a little bit of dementia. But for me, it was no letting up. My goal was to care for her and make her life better. And I had some simple things that I wanted to do. So one of them, I wanted to make her laugh at least once a day. She was a very funny lady, and my father was a funny guy, and luckily they passed that on to their kids. So humor plays a big role in my life generally, but especially in high tense, high stress situations. So, and my mom ended up making me laugh quite a bit too. She could be quite a character. But one of the mornings, so this is a number of months in. So I am giving her 2 sponge baths a day. I am caring for her when she was on the commode. I had to do the wiping the butt and all that stuff. Those are things the son doesn't really look forward to, but I did it with joy and with tender loving care. And so one morning I come in to her bedroom and she looks at me and she says, "Well, now what is it I call you?" And I said, "You're kidding, right?" She says, "No." I said, "Name your children." And she says, "Laurel, Michael, Carol, David, DC." And no idea. So I told her, I said, "My name is Mark." She goes, "Oh, that's Mark. With a K?" I said, "Yes, you named me." But instead of getting mad, I think, well, she suffered from dementia. I wrote my name, M-A-R-K, on big block letters and taped it to the ceiling. So the next few mornings when I came in, I would say good morning, and she'd say good morning. Her eyes shot to the ceiling for the visual aid, and they came back and said Mark, and she was very proud. After a while, she got over that. But I came up with a theory that wiping butt does cause amnesia. And I have a chapter about that in the book because out of the 6 kids, I'm the only one consistently wiping my mother's butt, and I'm the only one that she couldn't remember his name. So those are things, if you were really sensitive and didn't kind of take in all the circumstances, you could get really upset about, saying, "Oh, how dare she forget me when I'm sitting here 24/7 caring for her." But you got to roll with the punches. She didn't mean anything by it. She's still my mom. She's a little slower, a little forgetful, and a little more fragile. But she's still your mother. She still deserves the love and respect you can give her. So I just kind of laughed it off. And after a few days with that visual aid, she was fine and she never forgot my name again.
Wow. Just to think about having your own mother forget your name, the one of her sons, the one who is caring as much as possible for her every single day and making her laugh every single day.
Well, that was, yeah. And I think with the son's approach, so I felt my mother's dignity was kind of whittled away with her life, with the people upstairs and stuff like that. So one of the things I wanted to do was return dignity to her and then to her environment. So the first thing I did is I bought her a new wardrobe. And if you want to cheer anybody up at any age, especially a lady, a new wardrobe will do that. So she loved the new wardrobe. But for a middle-aged guy going out to ladies' department stores looking for nightwear for an old lady, I got a lot of creepy looks from salespeople and other people seeing a man looking at ladies' clothes. So there's still a little bit of that stigmatism in the States. So that was kind of creepy. But I had a job to do, so I got some nice stuff for her. And also, she worked full time. She was a proofreader for the largest newspaper in New Jersey. And my dad was a chemist, so he worked full time as well. And but she treated herself to a trip to the beauty parlor once a week to get her hair done and get her nails done. She had beautiful nails, and she went for a shampoo and set. And when she came to visit me in Los Angeles, I would take her to my friend's beauty salon in Beverly Hills. And she got the movie star treatment, which was great. And I knew she really liked that. But at this point, I had no idea when she last went to a beauty parlor. So I decided to create that at home. So I invented a thing called Day of Beauty. So on a Saturday, every week, I did something special. And normally she got the 2 sponge baths. But on Day of Beauty, while she was on the commode, I soaked her feet in Epsom salts. I washed her hair and rinsed her hair. And then she got a full body massage, and I took care of any medical things. And she got to put on her new wardrobe, which she chose for the day. And then I blow dried her hair and put it in a ponytail or a braid for some bonus points. And then I did her nails. And then I finished it off with lipstick to match the nails. And the first day I did this, I didn't think that it was a big deal. It was a nice thing for a son to do for his mom. But I put her in the wheelchair. At this point, she never walked anymore. I got her walking a little later, but at this point, she still wasn't walking. So I put her in the wheelchair, and I wheeled her into the kitchen for breakfast. And we stopped in the dining room where we had a large mirror, and I parked her in front of that mirror, and she just beamed. And I realized that, so wanting to feel pretty doesn't go away. It doesn't fade, even at 89 and 90 years old. And it was just lovely. So I leaned into her and I said, "Who's that pretty girl?" And it was a profound effect that had on her and on me as well. I didn't think that much of it, but it was a huge thing. And it was infectious because everybody that saw her saw how happy she was and how well cared for she was and how beautiful she felt. And it was a really important lesson that we've seemed to, again, as we get older and as our parents get older and our grandparents, we take a lot of things for granted. And this was something that I realized at that point, no, we can't take any of these things for granted. And also while I was there, I had some skills in rebuilding and from my design experience. So I renovated the entire house from top to bottom and involved her in all those things because I wanted to keep her active and keep her mind active. And so she made decisions on paint color and carpet and things like that. But it was funny, again, with this dementia, as I'm coming in and out of the house, after breakfast, I would sit her in the living room where she got to watch her television shows. And I'm going back and forth with all the construction material. And for several days in a row, she goes, "What is going on?" And I said, I'm making your house more beautiful. She goes, "Well, who's paying for all that?" I said, "You are. So cheer up. You may have to go back to work." And then she started getting up out of the chair. I said, no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. So next day, same thing. I'm going back and forth with material. And she's going, "What is going on?" And I said, "I'm making your house more beautiful." And so we just kept repeating this thing. It was very funny. Again, it's sad that, your mom's losing it a little bit, but you have to make light of it. And then one day, when I finished the basement, the last thing to do was the carpet. We had to choose the carpet. So I put 2 carpet samples on her breakfast tray. And I left the room to fill up her juice cup. And I came back and she had one of those samples in her mouth with a scowl on her face. And she said, "This is not a cookie." I said, "No, Mom, it's a carpet sample. Which one tastes better?" And she chose very well. So that's the carpet we went with, the one that tasted terrible.
Wow. What a heartwarming and funny story at the same time. And I'm sure you wrote it all down in your memoir that has won actually 16 awards till this day.
It's 18 now. We just got another
18
one.
now.
Yeah. So I think we're done. I think those are all the ones that we're up for. So, yeah, it's very nice. It was my first book, and I was lucky to find a publisher. I actually had 2 publishers that were interested in it, and it's great. So the awards are certainly nice, but the personal notes I've gotten from people who have read the book, especially people from the area where I grew up, my hometown, has been very supportive. But even people in New York and stuff where my parents grew up are just because they connect. It resonates with them because they understand the area and the things that we did in growing up and stuff like that. And but those personal notes and letters have just been fabulous. And now we have some interest from Hollywood. So I'm working on the screenplay. We're talking about doing that. But I spent 28 years in Hollywood, so that might take a little bit. But it's fun to have people showing that kind of interest. So we'll see what happens.
Wow. Good for you. I hope in the next years it gets even further. Thank you so much for your time. Where can people get your book if they want to?
If they Google a cup of tea on the commode, we're everywhere. But certainly Amazon. Amazon has all 4 versions. So we have the paperback, a large print paperback, the ebook, and also the audiobook. And I think Barnes & Noble, there's some brick and mortar stores, but our distributor has it, I think, all over the world, which is fabulous. And soon it's going to be published in China and also South Korea so far. So we're starting to expand. So I'm hope to expand to Germany. That's my grandmother was German, and certainly France and Italy, where my grandfather's from. So we're getting the word out, and hopefully inspire guys to get up and take care of your mom.
What a way to end the podcast. Thank you so much for all of the work, and have a great day.
Thank you, Moritz.